So, what are we trying to do? Where are we? Let's go look at my screen. Yes, Jonas, I have, when I can, I try to do it earlier. So today the rest of the week will be earlier starts. So hopefully that'll help you all stay awake. Yes, earlier. Woohoo. I love how long that confetti takes. So what we're working on is, of course, getting to, I guess, an MPG, a minimally playable game. Not miles per gallon, but minimally playable game. And where we're at is the sort of waiting for the game to start, which is kind of this component, but we have a much nicer layout in the real thing. So let's go take a look at that. One of the things I've been doing is thinking about sort of, it's a bit of thinking ahead, but you know, just because we are doing TDD and sort of in the moment doesn't mean we don't also think ahead. So things I've been thinking about are, for example, what if a player joins late? Do we want to allow that? So right now for my MPG, my minimally playable game, I'm not going to allow that, but it actually wouldn't be terribly difficult to just add another player, assuming you've got room, and then dealing them cards and sticking them in the game, as long as there's room. One interesting thing I was also thinking of is if a player drops out, so if they time out, then again, because the minimally playable game does not enforce turn taking, it doesn't enforce any rules, you can just skip over them. But it might be interesting to have a little machine learning. I hesitate to call it an AI because I'm not going to do any of the sort of game-oriented AI techniques. But it certainly could be something where if you don't have anybody to play with, but you don't want to play solo, the computer could probably play a reasonable game. Yeah, Spring AI. But it's not, there's no LLMs here. There's no, I would pretty much honestly just have some heuristics. Like, you don't need anything that sophisticated here. You know, you could have the conservative computer where it never goes and takes risks and just plays the cards it's dealt. Or you have the risk-taking one, which always takes risk as much as it can. Those would be sort of the basic opponents that you'd have. The other things that I was thinking about is the observer. So I definitely need that. And thinking about how you might observe multiple games. So for example, if I'm a coach and I'm using the game to facilitate sort of learning about TDD, especially like Astrid said, that doesn't mean it's no design. It just means you don't go deep into that design and start designing your class diagrams. I remember doing that way back when. Yeah, finite state. Yeah, it's kind of state machine. Just test the figure out what the optimal thing is. And so the observer would have a different view than sort of what we see sort of in this mock-up. It would be close to this, but sort of there would be no sort of primary player. So it would be pretty much this layout for each player. And things that I'd want the observer to be able to do, for example, is literally stack the deck. So what I'd like is, for example, to set up a certain situation, I might want to stack the deck and say, you know, these are the cards. So being able to manipulate these objects sort of behind the scenes would be really useful from an observer facilitator point of view. In addition, I sort of want to be able to see events as they happen from multiple games. So there's all sorts of stuff that for that view that I think will be really, really interesting. Not necessary for the minimal playable game, though the minimal playable game does need to have just a straightforward observer view. So we'll figure that out when we get there. But we are not there. We are here. More specifically, we are... Nope, that's Ensembler. TDD game. And let's see. Yes. So let's go to, where is it? There it is. Why are my icons not showing up? There they are. That took a little while. So this is a slight update to my previous layout. I wanted some icons here that were not just sort of checks. So basically, I'm using the font awesome set of icons. I might switch some around. I've got some other choices, but this is kind of cute. What are you seeing, Astrid, for this stream? Talking about the title or something else? I might have to check what that looks like. I haven't looked. I don't expect people to sort of browse around, I guess. And hey, Sweetie, welcome. So anyway, so what we're working on is we've basically defined two what I'm calling UI components, and these are basically areas, you might call them elements of the screen. These are targets for basically for HTMX to target updates. So the top one is, if we bring up our WebSocket sequence diagram, which I have updated to be more accurate. We've got two UI components, the Who's Connected component, that's this one, top one, and the Notifications UI component, which is the bottom one. And so that way, when we broadcast, when the WebSocket session manager does a broadcast, which is basically here and here, and then again here and here, we know what we're sending and where we're targeting. So that's what we're working on. We got all the WebSocket stuff seeming to work. So let's take a look. Let's leave that open. Leave that open. We'll close the preview. And so one thing that I noted that I posted about is there's order of operations. So for example, player one, really it's more player two when they connect with the WebSocket here, right? Because they got redirected to the game page, and that's the page that has the WebSocket connection. It's possible that this WebSocket connection doesn't happen until actually after these messages are sent. And so the WebSocket connects, and so what I did in the Ensembler timer, we'll do the same thing here, is the WebSocket session manager will sort of cache the last things that were sent and then sort of send them to all new connections. I will likely not do that for the notifications, but definitely need to do it for the who's connected, because the who's connected this thing is basically I will just send the current state, because that will always be up to date. So there's some interesting sort of technical, caching going on here. I don't feel like I want to, and I think I mentioned this before, I don't think I want to cache the notifications, but I definitely need to cache this stuff so that when, so blue connects, they just see blue, yellow connects, but maybe it's slow for the WebSocket to get set up and doesn't receive this update when they connect. Blue will have gotten it successfully. But then when yellow connects through the WebSocket will say, great, upon connect, let me send you this. Which means my WebSocket session manager, I'm going to need sort of this idea of what's the container. So I'm thinking about this like this is the WebSocket is concerned, the WebSocket manager, there's a manager or session manager or whatever we want to, waiting screen manager that's holding on to just this. And then once the game starts, it can basically toss away anything that it has regarding this waiting screen. All right, so we've got our player connector test. And let's see how our tests are. So fast. So we've got player connected message broadcast when player connects to game. So what happens is we've set up our mock broadcaster, and we have now our player connector. So our player connector is in our application layer. It's a use case, and so it's the thing that's sort of managing connections and so on. So we see that when a player username connects, so this is what we get when the WebSocket connects, we get the, along with other session information about the WebSocket, we also get their security username. So again, that's one nice thing. We don't have to worry about the security, because once they're logged in, whether it's HTTP or WebSocket, we know who they are. So we'll get that username. One of the last things we did last time was set up these finders. So we've got a finder, a game finder, and we've got a member finder, and then we basically find out what their player is, so their player, the player information, and then we broadcast that information out. Hey there, Invozalta, welcome. Yes, diagrams are awesome. So this is the application, which again sort of has no concrete references or references to concrete implementations. Right now, our member finder and our game finder are pretty thin wrappers around our game store and our member store, which themselves right now are just in memory. So we haven't gotten to true persistence using the Spring Data JDBC. We'll get to that at some point. But for now, so the player connector, so we've gotten a connect. We already know that they joined. And so what we'd like to do is I think what we want to do next is hook this up to the real WebSocket broadcaster. So actually there's two things. So let's go look at this diagram. So we've got our inbound adapter WebSocket. That's our handler. And that's this guy. That's this WebSocket inbound handler. Right now it's a very generic inbound handler. Eventually it might be something like the waiting room. And what we want is when the connection happens, we want to then call the player connector. So we know this code works. We know this code. We also know that this code works. So these two things work. We know that we broadcast when it's connected. So we know that works. And now what we can do is start hooking up the real thing. So let's see how we'll do that. So we want, after connection established, we're going to want it to basically call the method on the player connector. So where this can get a little confusing is, wait, player connector has a dependency on broadcaster. So remember, broadcaster is the outbound thing. That's basically this and this. So the use case, of course, needs a dependency on that. And so we inject the port because that's the abstraction. And we've tested basically this inbound connection. So now, now we want the thing that triggers the whole thing. So, I'm just thinking about the more precise class here, but I think I'll just start adding stuff to this. So we want, I know it would be handy. So one of the things that I want to do when I'm testing a real inbound thing like this is I could probably write an automated test that is driven by like Playwright, but I think right now I'll just test it manually. So rather than try and trigger it with using HTMX, it might be useful also to have a test WebSocket client. Does IntelliJ have a WebSocket? I know it has HTTP. Does it have a WebSocket client? That would be nice. It does. Well, look at that. Who knew? So IntelliJ has a built-in HTTP client, and it looks like as part of the HTTP client, it supports WebSocket. So this is really nice. So that means I don't have to be outside of IntelliJ, because it's a scary world outside of IntelliJ. I like to stay comfy in my IntelliJ idea. All right, so we certainly don't need the content type, and it's just the request. Let's try it out. So it's just WebSocket. We'll have to figure out the path. Oh, and there's a live template. Look at that. So what do we want? We want to create a new HTTP client. Where is it? Why do I not see it? There it is, HTTP request. It's like, it's not in alphabetical order, and it's not in the order of like common usage, and so I don't know where the heck it is, but it's right there. So we're gonna call this player connector WebSocket. And we'll get rid of the comments, and we'll type WSR, which is a WebSocket request. Look at that. Yeah, WSS localhost 80. What's my endpoint? I know it's WS something. WS game. And that's it. I like how it's oriented totally towards JSON, which is hilarious. Oh, that's really interesting. So there's this wait for server. That's cool. Let's comment that out, and then we'll just delete the rest. Yes, JetBrains are awesome. I actually am working out some a deal to get and give away various things. I need to follow up on that. Yeah, the problem is like most of the dev advocates for JetBrains are in Europe, so that the timing doesn't always work. But yeah, I'll hit her up and see if she's interested in coming on. All right, so we don't want content type JSON. We're really bare bones. So what we want to set, what we set our kind of protocol is connect and then the game handle. So I think we probably want to, when it starts up, I guess we can just look and see what it is. So it's going to be connect. We'll just do any game for now. We get to write how we handle this, and we'll just find the first game and connect to it. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so we know how to communicate. So now what we want is we need a dependency on player connector. So let's do that. Yeah, no, that's not what I want. I want a player connector. We'll add a constructor parameter. And now we need to define, and I know this auto-wired is not necessary, but I like it. We'll go into our startup. No, not our startup, our config. And we'll go ahead and create a bean. That's interesting. Okay. There we go. And no, we don't want a game finder. We want a player connector. And perfect. It needs a broadcaster, so we're going to... I think broadcaster right now is just a single abstract method, so we can pretty much just do this. And I don't care what that is. Does it? Expected 2. So we'll do that. Oh, I got these as stores. These are not stores. These are finders. So close. But that's fine. We'll just translate them since they're simple wrappers. So what we want are member finder and game finder. Oh, I guess we could just do that. Game store. And this one. New member store. Oops. And that has to be uppercase. Yeah, I totally get why auto-wired is optional. Like, it's smart enough to figure out, oh, look, I found a constructor that matches what I have. But annotations are not just for telling the framework what to do. They are also documentation. And so I personally find removing this means it's no longer in my face that this is going to be auto-wired by Spring. And I personally think that's bad. And when you have multiple constructors, then you kind of have to have the auto-wired. So if you do a refactor and you add another constructor, well, now you got to go back and add the auto-wired. So that's why I always put it in, for those reasons. All right. So we've got our player connector. Spring is happy that we're now injecting this. Let's run all of our tests just to be sure. And look, I missed something there. Yes, if you see auto-wired on anything other than the constructor, that is definitely bad. I've asked around and nobody has yet convinced me why it would be reasonable to have an auto-wired on anything other than the constructor, other than legacy code. And I'm like, fix that. Okay, so here, game handle is not found. That's fine. So let's... let's auto-wire our game store. And actually, it would be nice to use the nullable, right? Because I'd like to use game store dot oh, I don't have a nullable entry for that. It would be nice to use game store and hand it a game, but it's just as easy to say game store and that. You need a little bit more info here. That's the game name. And that's the game handle. Okay. It has always been thus, therefore it must always be this way. There is the saying about consistency, which is often slightly misquoted. It's a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Sometimes people drop the foolish part and say consistency is the no, consistency is fine, but a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. In other words, don't just be consistent for the sake of being consistent. Be consistent, but also change as needed. Yeah, it's unfortunate if you've got legacy code that relies on that stuff, and all you can do is change it as you can. And yes, it's funny how hysterically and historically are very similar, at least in English. All right, so this should pass this test. I'll just run this one directly. And there we go. All right, so let's do a commit. Didn't really change much other than injecting player connector into WebSocket inbound handler. Okay. Oh yeah, I haven't watched that talk yet. That's on my long list of videos to watch. All right, so we've hooked up our player connector. Kind of want to abstract this out. Right now, this is a dummy broadcaster, so I want to make that more clear. Private static file. Okay, great. All right, so when we start the app, oh yeah, so let's go back to the config for a second. Actually, let's go to the startup. What we want is command line runner to add game to game store. That's funny. It's like, yes, I want you to generate a bean, but not with comments. So at bean. There's my command line runner. And there's my args. But this is all wrong. We want the game store. Again, it's like, why is Cody pulling in code from another project? It's not player account repository. I didn't even say player. I said member to member store. Member store. Member store. Member store? No. R. There we go. Ooh, that's a nice quote. Tradition is not to keep the ashes, but to pass on the fire. Where's that from? So yes, no, not new game. What are you doing? Now you're just being annoying. Okay. Now I know which project it's taking this from. So some of you will recognize these strings. That's funny. So there's our blackjack ensemble game that was using those as sample names. Yeah, hi Mike. This is more like what we want. But it is not, there is no create. And the member takes the member ID, which we will have to make up. Oh, I don't have an of yet for that, so we'll just make it up. Nickname, that's that. Auth name is that. Okay. All right, Sweetie. Yeah, I'm not. I don't need a broadcaster yet. We'll get there, and I'll use your nullable stuff. We don't need the args, so we can rename that. So we store a new game. We save the member, and then we would like that member to join the game. So we'll need to hold on to this game. Oh, I guess I can extract that out to member. And then this is just member ID. All right, so the reason we did this was so that when we start up the app, there's already a game, there's already a member. Oh, so the question then is how is the HTTP client going to handle the auth? Sorry, the WebSocket. Maybe it's not worth using the client. Let's see. How would we do auth? Request with authorization. So I would probably have to auth, and then I can do the WebSocket. Oh, hey, Builder Loda, welcome. Nice to see you. Oh, I don't trust the AI assistant for this. That's OAuth. Auth configuration. Oh. See, you know, it's like I could just read the docs. So we can basically create a new environment. We'll add to the public. Dev. Got it. So what do we need here? We need security. We need auth. That's interesting that it talks. So we need dev security auth, but I want basic auth. There we are. Oh, yeah, okay, duh. It's just authorization. Okay. So presumably if we do a get with authorization, if we try to connect directly with a WebSocket, will it request the authorization? Let's try it. So then we don't need this right now. So what we want, we basically want this, and our username is yellow. No, actually our username is yellow. The password is yellow. Is that... Actually, that doesn't match what we set up here. I'm probably going to want to change that, but for now I'll do that. Do I need a base 64 encoded? I don't know. Likely I do. Be nice if it encoded it for me. Let's see. Can we quickly do that? Look at that. So it looks like we can stick in this stuff. So we can basically say, where is it? With base 64 secret. It's funny, it looks like this is JavaScript. Maybe? So this is probably more than I want to do, but let's go ahead and do this. Why did I bring up my dictionary? So let's go back to this. And then we'll close that. Doesn't close that. It closes percent that. That's really interesting syntax. Can I just do with base 64 secret? This might be overkill. Yeah, I think it's not clear for me how to do that. And the password I don't really care about. So let's just go find a... So what's our password? Our password is that. Okay, there we go. So we want authorization, basic, and that's our password. Yes, that is an uppercase Y for the username. Because that's the security config I got. Yep, that's the username. Yep, that's the username. I might want to change that, but for now it's fine. In my startup, that's because member has the nickname, which is uppercase, and the auth name, which is uppercase. And then I change the player name to be Mr. Uppercase. So the only thing that's lowercase is the password. Yeah, I mean, anything else, anything other than, like, I just need this for testability. Once we get past this and we have real auth, and this goes away. So if we run the app, we should now be able, let's first do this. Where'd it go? So yellow. Oh, right. Let's copy that. Let's go here. And so we said this is basically that. And we want localhost 8080 game actually, what do we want? I think we just want the home page. Okay, it goes to login. And it goes to lobby. Okay, go away. So let's go. Let's all go to the lobby. What I don't want it to do is then kick off the WebSocket one. Add request separator. Oh, that's the request separator. That doesn't look like a request separator. That looks like a request separator. I don't know why there was a W in front of it. So that's a request separator. There we go. Okay. All right. So we expect this to work. Let's try it. Oh my. Oh, like, what the? There we go. I wonder if Well, that's interesting. I could do a post using the login form. But it would need a CSRF. So I've got HTTP basic with the addition of the form login. So let's do a post to login. There's no content type. Well, I guess it's form URL encoded. And username, password. Plus the CSRF token. I could turn CSRF off. I might do that during testing. And let's see what we get. Oh, this probably has to be URL encoded. You know what? I'm going to turn CSRF off because that's going to be annoying for a little while. So let's go turn that off. And let's restart. I never understand CSRF. So CSRF, what it does is it makes sure that when you do a post to an endpoint, that nobody's faking that post. So Timeleaf will automatically inject a CSRF token, and it's a unique token, and then that gets sent back because it's a hidden field. And so that way the security filters match that up and say, oh, I sent you this form, I just got it with the same token, therefore it's you. What just failed here? Oh, did some page refresh? Yes, this page refreshed. That's weird. Okay. Let's clear that. Let's go to our WebSocket. I don't understand. Oh, that's because it thinks it's a header. That's why. Has to be a blank line between your headers and your content. Response code 200. All right. So, so I think I don't need this authorization. So I'm going to stick this down here. And we know what the game is. We're connecting to, what did we say it was? Testy Spider 83. Except who got connected? Oh, so we shouldn't be yellow. We should be somebody else. We'll be blue. Okay. And now we should be able to connect. Plain text. Oh, they didn't join, so they need to join. Otherwise, the connect doesn't work. So we posted to log in. What is the endpoint for join? Oh, it is to just join with game handle. Okay. That's fine. And then it's game handle. Yes. So we're now on the waiting screen, so that's what all this stuff is. In fact, we see blue is connected. And now the WebSocket so 2 players joined. If we join Testy Spider 83. Testy Spider. I wonder if that's going to be we're rejoining. Yeah. So there's Mr. Yellow. This yellow not connected is temporary stuff that I should probably comment out. Okay. So we are now we're now connected. We're in WebSocket. We could send other messages, but that's actually good enough for now. Let's stop everything. That all looks good. Let's close that for now. We don't need the config or the, actually the config. Who are the other players I set up? Let's have red log in here. Okay. Hey, what tool am I using? The HTTP client in IntelliJ apparently supports WebSockets, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. It's much more powerful than I thought. All right, so we start up. We have a game. It's joined by Mr. Red. Let me go to the game HTML. I'm going to comment this out. I thought it might be easier to test through the WebSocket that way, but I think it's actually just as easy to test through the HTML page, because that's fine. So we can close that. We don't need that anymore. So our inbound handler, what we want to see what we want to see is that we want to see some connection string. Yeah, I think for, unless you're playing back a lot of scripts, a lot of complex scripts already that are already done for you in Postman, yeah, the built-in client is really good because you can do multiple messages, multiple, sequence things, and it's in the same repository as your code. So use it. Okay, so we get our player connector. We want, after the connection is established, oh, right. So at this point, we don't know which game they want. All we know is that this was connected. It's not until here that we know that they connected to a specific game. Yeah, so I think here we basically call it connect. All right, Jonas, have a great rest of your day. See you next time. So I'm just wondering about testing this aspect. So I think I'll write the code to connect it to my connector, to call the connector, and then I will basically have that payload information. Well, I've already got tests against this, so I know it does the right thing. So it's basically I just need to parse out the game handle, and then I'll do that. Hey there, SwayTW. Yes, I am. Spring Boot, Java, HTMX. Just like it says over there. All right, so what we want to do is player connector, connect. Close, it's not session, it is session get principal, get name. And then get payload, what type is that? Oh, it's of type T. Then shouldn't WebSocket message be also of type string? No, I can't override it that way. It must be unknown. That's a bummer. All right. So get payload is basically an unknown. I guess I could do string on it. Or I could just cast it, because I know it's going to be a string. I feel like I want to cast it. So let's do this. This is message payload. Create that as a local variable, string, message, get payload, except we're going to cast it. There we go. Hey, it's a WebSocket message. It's got getters. It's a technical DTO. I don't care. All right. Except we don't want to send the entire message payload. We want to actually trim out. Oh, look at that. That was handy. I was going to do that anyway, but thanks, Cody. See, it's that kind of stuff that I think these AI assistants are good at. It's like the boilerplate, the stuff that I have to remember. How do I split, and then which one is it? And it's like, yeah, you split on the colon, and I want on the right side of the colon. All right, let's run it. All right, and I'll leave that open. So we'll go ahead and join. And there we go. We are joined. And so now if... Let's open up another... So this will require me to log in. Do I have green? I do. Do I? I do. Okay. So we'll log in as green. Green. Sign in. There are 2 players here. Go away. And well, we won't see anything unless I refresh this page, but when I get this page, I should have all 3. So I've got all 3. If I refresh this, I now have got all 3. So, so our connect is working. We can now connect to games. Ship it. And now I just disconnected, but we'll figure that out. Yes, let's celebrate. Woo. I need to get some fanfare music along with that, with the confetti. And so here we basically see the WebSocket text message and the connect and the payload details and so on. So we see that that's all there. Another celebrate. Yeah, let me make a note. Okay. So I have a tool from the wonderful folks at Rogue Amoeba who created a tool that's one of the mainstays of my Mac and streaming and so on is Loopback, but there's another one, I bought the whole pack, and it's, oh, I'm blanking on the name of it. It's one that basically has a screen and has buttons for different sounds that you can play. I'll have to bring that up next time. Okay, so we are connected. The connection works. So we've told the player connector we do need to handle the waiting screen manager, the waiting room manager, which is sort of going to be this sort of session stuff, but I don't think we need that yet. Okay, so we now have the WebSocket. We know that that sends a connect to here, and we know that that talks to the player connector, and we know that that talks to the broadcaster because we have a test for that. So now what we want to do is we want to implement the broadcaster to basically send back out that information. So we need an implementation of that. I think let's go implement it. So this is going to be, for now, our WebSocket broadcaster. Wait, do we have one? This is not an application port. This is an adapter out WebSocket. And we'll implement that method. Thanks, Cody. That really was not. So we've got this handler that I copied from the ensemble timer. I don't think there's anything in here that I need. Because when I send the message, it just does a session send message. Yeah, so I think I just need to have a central place to store the messages. And then it just iterates through all of them and sends them. All right, okay, thanks for stopping by. So, I think the map then, the session map is not actually in the inbound handler, because it can't be, as we said in our diagram. It's got to be somewhere else. So I think I don't need this class. So let's go ahead and delete this. Just think about this direct connection between the inbound and the outbound. It's kind of an implementation detail, so I think we're okay. So what we want to do then is actually grab the session map. And I don't think we want to do anything here. Oh, thanks, InfoZolta. Been doing it for a while, so. So let's put that here. What are we mapping? We're mapping... What do I need to map? It needs to be game handle to list of sessions, right? Oh, so what did I say about a multi-map? Did I want to pull in a whole library or just do it myself? I really feel like pulling an entire library is so overkill. do it myself. Gets a little complicated when I need to, but I do feel like I've implemented this before, but I looked around a little bit and I didn't find a handy implementation. It is something that is straightforward enough that I might be able to get ChatGPT to generate it for me. Or Cody. Let's go ask Cody. Yeah, I don't know if I want to make it, if I dare ask it to make it thread safe. Let's see how it does with this. All right, that seems pretty decent. I don't think I need the contains value or the contains key. It's basically the remove that is the quote difficult part. So does the values get if it's null? If it's not null, then it removes it. If it is null, then who cares? Then it returns false. If values is empty, it removes the key from the map. And it uses a hash set, so getter default. So it doesn't return a null, basically returns an empty hash set. Is that what I want? That should kind of never happen, but that's fine. And then a put is a compute if absent. So if it's absent, it creates a new hash set and then doesn't have. Yeah, this is how I would have written it. Yeah, streaming there's a lot going on, especially if you want to pay attention to chat. Yeah. Should I ask him to make it thread safe now? Hey, tram stars. So let's see. I feel like this isn't thread safe. Because like all it did was basically replace the hash map with a concurrent hash map. And oh my God, what the heck did it do here? I don't know if I trust this. Oh, I see what it's... Oh my Lord. I don't think this is thread safe. I really don't. Yeah, this is not filling me with confidence that this is actually thread safe. I mean, I would certainly use a concurrent, instead of a hash map, I'd use a concurrent hash map. And I think that will be sufficient for us. So let's grab this implementation. Do I need I don't need any of the contains. I don't think I need size. I think I pretty much just need till here. We'll make it a class here. We won't make it public just yet. Multimap. Let's make it final. I don't know why I didn't instantiate it up here. How about we instantiate it just there? And then we can take out that. That's fine. That's fine. I think I just need put, get, and remove. I think that's all I need. Yeah. All right. So then what we want is our session map is actually a private final multimap. Thank you very much. And WebSocket broadcaster, we can make this a component because we are in framework land, so we can just mark this as a component, which means we can then have this injected into here. And hold on to it. I don't think there were any usages. I think it's all auto-wired stuff. Yeah. Create a field for that. I'm not sure what methods I want yet on the map. I'll have to see when I use it in context, what it looks like. This is for game handle to session. But so I could make it very specific to this domain and call it connect and disconnect. At least for put and remove. But I don't know that I have a problem with this internally as a map. We'll see when we use it. Okay, so here do I want? I think I want the whole to hassle on the whole session. So we're going to talk to the WebSocket broadcaster, and this is actually we'll just call it disconnected. Disconnect session, sure. This is interesting. I actually want to do a remove of the WebSocket session from all games. So let's not implement this yet. Hey, that's what I said. And I'm going to copy this comment over to there. So do we need a two-way map? I think so. Because I need the game handle to session so I can broadcast out to this game, but then I need, for this connection, remove from all games. Yeah. Okay. So now here, this is where they actually connect. Right now, I'm going to assume I'm getting the connect message. So we know the game handle. We've connected them using the player connector. But we also need to tell the broadcaster as well. So WebSocket broadcaster, connect, and what we want is the session and the game handle. Yes. Naming is hard. Player connector code, sure. Not much to it. Yeah. Feels like there's some duplication here. At this level, I don't, because it's in the application, it knows nothing about WebSocket sessions. It just knows player usernames and game handles. So it could be that this is not really needed, that we could sort of out of band just send messages out, but I don't like that feeling of not going through the application for that. So here, when we connect, we want to do a game handle to session, pretty much that. And that's it. And I think this method is kind of feel like I want something like announce in front of that. Even though it's already on the broadcaster, I feel like this makes it a little bit more clear. So when we announce, what we do is we basically, from the game handle to session, pretty much that. Except we don't have a such a message. But good try, Cody. What we want to send is simply eventually to be HTML. So for now, what did I want the HTML to look like? So notification container. So we want, let's grab that. And I'm going to eliminate this stuff. Messages, notifications will appear here. We'll get rid of that. And then what we can do, oh, you want to send JSON, don't you? Nope, nope. No, we don't. I don't know what the heck that is. What's going on here? Oh, it needs a WebSocket message. All right. There. Stop trying to do not HTML. So we want that. We don't care about the class. We don't care about that. We want a list item. We'll leave that there for now. So what do we know? We know about the player's name. So this will become that. And then we do dot formatted with player username. Close. It's not player username. Player name. And let's unindent that. Okay. So that gives us the HTML to send. And then we do that. We'll surround it with a try catch for now, and we'll throw a runtime exception. We'll have to fix that. This is terrible. Okay, so this is going to be the same HTML no matter what, so we can move that out of scope. Yes, North Antro, yes, thank you. It probably wouldn't matter because it would probably auto-close, but it's better to close it. All right, so this should work. This is sort of the tightrope walking stuff where I'd like to have a better way of testing this in an automated way. All right, so let's run the game. Yeah, browser would fix it. All right, let's go here. Let's go back to the lobby. That's the Spider 83. So we'll join. And now let's have blue, not blue. Yeah, blue. Stop that. Oh, I never called the announce, did I? Oh, no, I did, right here. And am I sure that worked? Yes. Because I know this is being called with the correct information, because that I have a test for. What I don't have a test for is this getting, oh, this isn't getting the real broadcaster. That's right. Because in the game config, I use a dummy. But now we can get that injected. So we'll create that as a parameter. I don't think we need a default value. That will, let me change the order of this. I'd like this to actually be on top. But nobody calls this directly. That's not a call. That's weird. Oh, I guess essentially that is a call. That's interesting. IntelliJ knows that this will get injected over here, but there's no direct calls from it. And so now, because we have this as a component, Spring will actually use the real thing. All right, let's restart. We got to go back to the lobby. Back to the lobby. Join the game. And then here. And look at that. We've got our notification. And if we did another one, actually I want another one of these. Yes, let's all go to the lobby. We want to go to the lobby. Oh, that's interesting. So it's, I would have thought the separate browser window would have, all right, let's log out. Let's all go to the logout. And let's log back in. This time will be why did the notification not appear? Let's do this. Let's go. Network. There's the connect message. Oh, because I'm not tracking closed WebSockets, and so that's causing exceptions. So let's handle disconnects, because otherwise we're going to try to yeah, because I rethrow the exception here, which actually I may not want to do. Because if I get an exception on trying to send a message, I'll probably want to do something more sophisticated, like ignore it a certain number of times and then basically say they're disconnected. So for now, I'm just going to do, let's create a logger. Yeah, so once I broadcast to a closed connection, it basically blew up the whole thing, and then it wouldn't send anything else. That's a good question. Whether I can check to see if they're alive. Let's do that. Logging is a little annoying in this way. We'll just pass along that robel. What can we ask the session? We can ask if it's open. Yeah. I'm sighing because there's logic here that it's not going to be easy to directly test this. Now, how are you going to do that? See, that's actually wrong. Because it replaced the concatenation, so now the second, basically all the rest of the arguments are considered objects to the message. Yeah, basically that becomes the second argument. I don't know what that'll do, so I'm gonna undo that. Okay. So at some point pretty soon, I'm gonna want to provide some abstractions for this. And this is where James Shore's some of that nullable stuff might be handy here. But all right, so let's this will be good enough for now. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, is it technically a nullable? It's really more... It's really more some of the output tracking related stuff. I don't think you missed any good rants. Okay, so let's restart this. And we'll go back to the lobby. We will join the game. And now we'll go here. And we'll go back to the lobby and join the game. And there it is. And then if we log out and we'll join as green. And that should have been an after begin, but it looks like it oh, right. I need to specify the swap on the incoming message. But hey, at least we saw the updated message. We got the message for each one. Now it's just a matter of doing the right thing with the HTMX. So what we want here is, in addition to that, we want the what is it exactly? The HXOOB. Let's go look at. I guess I could look at Ensembler. HX swap OOB, so that's what we want. And we want that to, no, not be true. We want that after begin. After before? No, after begin. After before. What a comedian. Yeah, I can't wait either. Because this is really annoying to forget that. And because I keep thinking, it's like, well, I've specified it here, but this is basically ignored because of this. So let's take it out so I don't get further confused. All right. Let's... What do I want? Do I want clock dot? No, I can just use, I'll just use instant. So instant, now, that's going to be too much information. I just want it to look... I know it will be wrong for people in other time zones. Not my concern right now. There we go. Okay. Do I lose all my connections? Yeah. So let's go back to the lobby, join the game. Let's go here, go back to the lobby, join the game. What did I mess up? Unsupported field hour of day. What did I mess up? Oh, is it try? Oh, right, because instance is not a local time. Then I'll just do time. I don't really care. It's fine. What does instant look like? No, that's too much information. I just want time. Yeah, because if the OST is not available, the format's complete. Okay. Let's join, and then let's join. Now what? No, it's still hour a day. I don't understand that. How about... How about that? What do we... Hold on. Let's... Time stuff. When we do a toString on that, what's that going to look like? I don't really care. Okay. All right. It sent something. No, it didn't. There it goes. That was weird. It's probably a bit too precise. But good enough. Now we can probably format it. you keep insisting on that, and it's not. What are you doing? There we go. Yeah, I could do that. It really doesn't matter. This is all totally temporary stuff. There it is. What? I guess it still has that precision? Whatever. All right, I'm not going to worry about that now. He says as he basically goes and looks to see. Should I just do up pattern? I guess I'll just do up pattern. All right, we're done with that. What else? So that's the notification. What I also need to broadcast and announce is the full state of the game itself. That's going to be part of the HTML generation. So we'll do HTML plus equals that. Yeah, that's an optimization, Astrid. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Format hero dev stopped working? Oh, I moved my registrar. I probably haven't updated that. I'll have to go fix that. It's basically because it's not. I didn't tell the registrar here's the new DNS, and then told the DNS here's where it is, because I moved registrars and that didn't get transported over. Oh well. So what do we want here? We want another swap container. And inside that one is going to be so this one's going to be interesting. I probably don't want to spend a lot of time on it, because the idea of these icons is it's green when they're joined and connected, and it's sort of orange. So it kind of looks like that when they are joined, but they have not yet connected, as it says right here. I think right now that's a nice to have. So what we want, because what I'd have to do is to figure out if they're connected, is for each player, and I said it was nice to have, and here I am thinking about it. No, it's nice to have. I have the information, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Okay. What we want is where do we want to insert this thing? We want to, that's the flex item center. So that's the list item we want to duplicate. No, that doesn't need to be in Jira. I will not forget about that. And if I do, it will come up again. So I want this list item, and we'd like it indented properly, please. We don't need the th each here because we're building this ourselves. What's the target for this? This is the this is the not the notification container. This is the joined players container. So what's in the box here are the people who have joined the game. So if I refresh this and we're still connected, we see the same list on both sides. So these are people who have joined. Then the idea is the icon would show also when they connected. But right now, and join will generally be the same as connected. There might be a slight delay. All right, Astrid, I know it's late, so thanks for hanging out. See you tomorrow. And we want the hx swap, but not after begin. We want this to completely replace what's there. And this needs to be in quotes. And this text is what will be the player name. This is all fine, but we need to iterate through this for each player. In the game. Let's do this. Yeah, so basically I'm building the WebSocket HTMX version of this list item. Technically of this looped list item. So let's put in the target ID, because I left that out. And that goes here. Oops. And so how do I want to do this? Actually, let's do one more extract. There. And then extract this out, and it's HTML for player. And we'll pull this out as a parameter. And then we want to, we need the game players. And I want to do a stream, and then we want to map player to, yes, that. And then interesting idea to reduce. That's actually pretty much what I want. But I'd like to return it. Is that going to work? I don't know why these are static. These don't need to be static. Boy, I'm writing a lot of code without tests. Somebody should have stopped me. Once I got into this level of HTML, I need to go back and test drive this. Maybe when I componentize it, I'll do that. All right. Because like this code, I'm fine writing without a test because I don't have a great way of testing it. This code, though, should really be tested. What happened here? Oh. Needs to be effectively final. Actually, I don't even think it needs the game handle. Yeah, that's what I want. That's much better. Okay. Let me swap these parameters. Let's see, so BDSL, hey there. So do I think that for this HTML generation code, golden master testing might be as good as TDD? I don't know the difference between golden master testing and TDD. That would be a characterization test. This, yeah, sometimes it's referred to as a gold master. I use Michael Feather's term of characterization, so I could characterize it. That's what I'll end up doing pretty shortly. In fact, now that I've split out the HTML generation from the other stuff, let's go do that. So let's pull this out. This is going to be create HTML for connect notification. I guess technically it's just a notification. the wording is wrong. And we can just return that. And so now let's move this up. I don't know why this doesn't need to be static either. Can totally do TDD and characterization at the same time. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing here is manual characterization testing, if that's a thing. It's really manual testing and just looking at inspecting it. But I'll write tests, and then I'll start off with characterization and build it from there. So in fact, that's what I'm going to do next. So let's actually make these static again, and then we'll move them all to a new file. So let's move this. So what are we going to call this? This is waiting room I don't know what to call this. HTML generator? Waiting room view? Waiting room transformer? I can't think of a better word right now. Okay, order factor. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I guess render is a better word. Thank you. BDSL. I suppose now I can just do plus. And I can rename this to be for connect notification, and then for join players. All right. So now we can go here. Make those non-public. This should not be public either. And then I can start writing tests for this. Can show, why not send them as separate messages? I could, but why bother? Why not send them all at once? It's easier to build up a bunch of messages that target different places on the thing and then just send it at once. It's probably not a lot of overhead, so either way, but I need to send them out anyway, so may as well. All right, so let's... Do we think we can ask Cody to write our first line characterization tests? Let's see. Before we do that, let me run all my tests, because I haven't done that in a while. Oh, got a failing test. All of our MVC tests. I suspected as much. We're missing probably some configuration somewhere. Player connector. Really? Player connector? Does not have a broadcaster. Oh, really? That's interesting. Oh, because it doesn't have a broadcaster. Okay. Then we can fix that. Might want to create now a test configuration for that. I think I want to, yeah, I think I want a test configuration. All right, so let's move this to a test configuration. I'm really not thrilled about using a mock bean on that, even though it kind of doesn't matter. Let's go create a test configuration for that. I never know how to trigger that from within a file. Control-Shift-N, is that what I need? Oh, it is Control-Shift-N, okay. So what I want is a test config. And stop writing to-dos for me. Basically, I want a dummy broadcaster, which I'll just take out of there. Nope. Good try, though. That's hilarious that it did an anonymous inner class. No, you don't need to do anything. And you don't need those either. Or that. Or that. And you end up with that. That's funny. Hey, Tukes. Am I using the latest release of Spring Boot 3.3? Yes. Because why not? All right, so we got a test config. So now we need... Do I need to import that? I always forget whether I need to import that or not. Let's see. I think I need to import that explicitly. Which now leads me to believe that I want to pull some of these annotations out, either with a meta annotation or with a base class. But for now, I love how IntelliJ, when I type comma here, it has the braces for me. It's such a little convenient thing. That's beautiful. We want test config. class. All right, so that works. And so we'll just grab that for all of our MVC tests. Oh, I wanted to run all the tests. All right, so let's go do a commit. I don't want to commit that. So is it just me, or did it not add this test class to my change list? Which is good because I don't want it, but it's interesting that it seems to have done that. I should have checked in more frequently. I probably want to turn the CSRF back on. I'll leave it off for a bit more. Because turned out it just wasn't hard to use the application itself to test the WebSocket stuff than trying to use the HTTP client. So the HTMX, okay. Let's go commit that. I think I can delete that. Okay. Binny, yes, I have. I've basically settled on their MVC tests since it's named as part of the annotation. We use a mock MVC and we do mock MVC stuff. And the new assertion stuff is also MVC, and it's all about Spring MVC. So yeah. It's shorter too. All right. I was going to ask Cody. Let's see what it came up with. Render empty waiting room. Okay. I like how it's doing the 0, 1 many, so that's a plus, right? Did the empty with 1 with multiple. I don't think I need 4 and 5 though. So let's go grab these, because there should never be an empty player name. Oh well, it was a nice try, but this code doesn't even compile. And it instantiated it, which I guess technically is fine. But there are no render methods. And its assertions are just completely wrong. Like what good is AI LLMs if they're not gonna even like look at, like, okay, even if it didn't quite compile, like the intent of calling this method, that's fine, but like its assertions are pointless. Like it's as if it didn't even look at this code. Let's see if we can be more precise, because there is some like boilerplate that it would be useful for it to do. So let's see if we can get Cody to generate a test explicitly for that. So that's better. Sort of. So like at least this was reasonable. So it got the right name because I gave it more context. So that's kind of okay. Let's grab that. But like John Doe, come on. I expect my LLMs to be more creative than that. Let's use assert that actual HTML is equal to expected HTML. Yes. It's really interesting because, like, I don't know, it's like having compilable code is like my baseline. If you can't generate reliably compilable code, you're not terribly helpful. Yeah, which means that their training data is not very creative. Which means we will have to be the creative parts. All right, so we're going to say our player name is Murph. Bonus points to anyone who knows where that's from. This is going to be our expected HTML. Are we not in... What the heck? Where did this quote come from? Wow, that's terrible. So ChatGPT for Python will be able to compile and run code. So if they can do that for Python, they can do that for Java. Oh, it came from my code. Oh, look at that. Well, at least it was consistent. So that's good. We already found a bug. And this is why you want to do TDD, because characterizing that would basically end up in HTML that's just wrong. Okay. Did I do that in multiple places or just there? Just there. Okay, great. So now we expect this test to fail. So let's run it. And voila, it failed. It should just be because of the double quote, and it is. So let's go fix our code, and now that should pass. Look at that. All right. Let's since Cody did a reasonable job of that, let's have it write a test for this one. Oh, not source graph. Oh my. Cody, you are just so wrong. That's terrible. How do you even, like, what? What led you to believe that? After reviewing your shared code context and configurations. Yes, the colors are the CSS colors. That's the primary and secondary colors that are used for the icon. Oh wow, it is just totally confused now. It's totally confused. Let's try this again. Let me see if I can get it to execute a command. I may just have to do it manually. Let's see how it does here. Yes, IntelliJ automatically injected HTML there. It recognized it. And I don't know when it does it automatically and when it doesn't. Whatever heuristic it's using is unknowable to me. Oh, are you serious? It's possible it uses the variable name. Well, now it's just guessing. Let's see if I can execute the command against here if it now remembers the context. Oh, now it thinks it's go. All right, you can stop generating. So this must be the prompt, and the prompt is just wrong. Yeah, that's a great prompt if it detected things properly. I don't know what to tell you. 3 strikes, you're out. All right, so let's write this manually. So let's do that one here. So test HTML generated correctly for player connect notification. So basically create our expected. So that's correct. We want the notification container. We want after begin. Oh, this is going to be fun. I guess I'll have to pull out the local time as a parameter. And that should have updated back here, and that's fine. Okay, good. So now, sure, except I'd like a different player. The second test is for connected. Connected does imply joined. Yes. Because you cannot connect to a game unless you have joined the game. Right now. At least as a player. When we get to observers, then you can connect to a game without joining, but then you're not a player. So not Murph. Instead, we're gonna Jankum Pug. And then we expect, so let's replace our expected with that. And then this is Jankum Pug. Yes, that's correct. Except we have to generate a player from this. Do we want to do that, or we just want to pass that into the renderer? I think that actually should be not our job. So let's pull this out. And now that works. So there's a television series called Star Trek Prodigy, and that's where these characters are from. That's the actual, and so now we can just assert that. And that's exactly what we want it to look like. So let's make it fail just on the time. And that's all it failed on. So we are good to go. Change this back, and that should pass. All right. I'm not sure I need to test this for joined players. I mean, I could generate it and just ensure that it's got sort of a contains for all the player names. Can I get it to write a test for just this one? Well, does that work? Should I even try? How about I just give it the code? Okay, seriously, what the hell? And it's interesting that it did arrays as list. Why wouldn't you use list of? Sorry, Cody. Is this vulnerable to cross-site HTML injection player name? No, because I will have pre-validated the player name when they type it in. Certainly you could put offensive text in your player name. There's only so much I can do. But there's no cross-site injection of any sort. So let's go and do, it's gonna be something like this test. No, it's not gonna be at all like this test. It's actually gonna be more like, actually, it is joined. In this case, it's joined and connected because I don't have joined and not connected yet. So actually, it is the same. Actually, that might be confusing. So let's basically take this. We will duplicate that. Put that in here. And this will be... Actually, I probably want to rename this to just for join player. And this is for join players. Players. We'll create that local variable. That's close, but we need some other information. And so let's say that. And we'll do that for the second player. And then this is list of, at least Cody got that right. This will be correct, modulo some perhaps new line issues here. Let's take a look. And it passed. Great. All right. Let's insert a space, see what happens. This should not pass then, because we should be off by a blank line. We are. So now let's take it out. Okay. Except now this is actually wrong. This is wrong. And this is why TDD is important. This is not the output I want. Because what this will do is swap in this container and then completely replace it with this swapped in container. No, what we actually want is that. Which it will obviously not do. Yeah. All right. So let's fix this. So we need to pull the swap out, because that needs to go here. Can I put it here? And then concatenate on the other end? Somehow that feels confusing. So let's go add it here. So this this will get closer. Oh, and my for single join player is just totally wrong. So this is wrong. Here we don't want the swap container at all. And then we'll take it out of here. And now we're just back to this one failing because we're missing the closing swap. And that's what's missing. And there we go. All right. So it might have been faster if I just did TDD up front. There was like several bugs already. Like I can't even be relied upon to write proper generated HTML. But good. All right. So all that's now tested. I think I'm pretty satisfied with it as is. My only concern is indentation is likely going to be an issue going forward. But other than that, we've got our renderer, we've got our broadcaster. Something seems to have happened where this entire set of files is not being added to Git. That's really weird. I wonder if I hit a keystroke or something because it thinks those are ignored. Let's double check our git ignore. Oh, yes, I do. That's terrible. Why do I even have do I even have an out directory? I don't even have an out directory. I've got a target directory. No, that's terrible. Well, that explains why I wasn't seeing those files in the checklist, because it was ignoring the entire directory. Maybe. Certainly looked like this was auto-generated though, because like I never include the STS stuff. And I never include the Gradle stuff. Or exclude it. And the view would have been a dist directory. I don't know. All right, that seems better. So if I do that, and the unversioned files, then we're okay. All right. All right. Let's run all our tests. And there we go. So I think that's it for today. So next time, what we're going to do is, I'd like the, where is it? Let's close that. I'd like the web broadcaster to cache the notification. Maybe, but if nothing else, the game page needs to do an onload trigger. Does it? No, maybe it doesn't. If A connects and then B connects, B will get the list of A and B, and A will get the WebSocket message that A and B are joined. Okay, so I think that's fine. I thought I might have had to do an hx onload to update this unordered list, which I might do anyway, because right now I've got duplicate HTML generation. I've got this being generated through Timeleaf as well as generated on the broadcaster side. I probably want to get rid of that. Let's go to Jira. What are we doing? We're so we got that. We've got that. We've got that. What was I just saying? How am I going to do that? Actually, I don't think I have to do anything. Let's see. I think if I comment this out, and run the app, we'll go back here. So you're yellow. Okay, so this situation, where is the, there it is. So we got the connect. The connect didn't send out the join. Okay, now I broke something. Oh, player is null. Oh, because did I not join properly? Yes, why is player null? Because they weren't in the game. All right, hold on. Let's stop the app. Let's get everybody back to the proper starting point. Let's clear that, and let's go back to here. Yeah, because red should have been in there. So let's try this again. All right, and then paste that in here. So right, okay. So I do need to, so there's a little bit of a race condition. The WebSocket connects, we connect, but we're not, are we not broadcasting that to everybody? We should be. I know the notifications, we won't get that. So let's go back to the lobby. Back to the lobby here. And need to restart. And so we'll restart here. It says hi green. We will join the game. So we see the connect. So we connect. Ah, the order is wrong. Yeah. So we need to add them to the session before we actually tell the application that they've joined. That's concerning. And this is where I'd want to have some kind of abstraction. Otherwise, this is hard to test. Or I write automated tests based on WebSocket browsers. Blech. So let's prove that. So let's go back to the lobby. Let's go back to the we're already in the lobby here. All right, let's refresh the lobby. We are yellow. There's only one game there. We'll join. And now we see that stuff because it's in the correct order. So now yellow is us. We just joined. Mr. Red was already there. We see the notification that we joined. And now here we join. This is updated. We have green notification. This is updated. They only see the latest notification, and that's what we want. All right. So then next time, that's working. Next time, what do I want to do? We've got the waiting for game to begin. So the waiting room functionality is basically done, I think. That's what Jira says. Now we need a start button. Now, when do we want to start the game, I think is completely up to whoever is looking at the screen. Do I even want a minimum? I don't think so. I think that's fine. I think we'll just show a start game button. So then the start game button, we click it, it starts the game. And then, yeah. And then we can finally get back to our actual domain implementation. So we've got this, and we're basically at this point, so we can start the game and then start dealing with all the stuff around decks and players and how that gets connected. Yeah, so that'll be next time. So my next stream is tomorrow. It'll be earlier than today. What time did I say? I think I said, yeah, 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is 6 p.m. UTC. So a bit of an earlier start for all you folks in the UTC plus time zones. So we'll pick it up from here. We'll basically get into starting a game and dealing with all that. So thanks everyone for hanging out. As always, if you want to chat about this stuff, my Discord is the best place to do that. And if you want to buy a copy of the physical game, looks something like that. You will get early access to this online game because the online game will not be free. But so you'll get early access to it. Best place to take a look at that. There's a video also of a walkthrough of that at tdd.cards. So check that out. And that's it. I'll see you next time. Bye.